Okay, so we're going to talk really quickly about being a sovereign being and, looking after ourselves. And I find that, particularly in this time of COVID, and I'm not going to talk hugely about that because this will get this will get sort of deplatformed probably. But I do want to talk a little bit about sort of the sovereignty that you have of your own health and your own body. And we've been talking a little bit about sort of fat acceptance and health at any size and these absolutely ridiculous movements that people have kind of really gone gung-ho towards, because it kind of validates their experience and validates that they don't really have to try anymore, that them not being accepted in society, or they're not being healthy, or they're not being consciously aware of what to do to look after themselves and kind of keep that self-care going. They can say that any problems with that is actually a societal one, and that it's society's fault that actually your body's not accepted, rather than it being a scientific or biological issue that your body isn't accepted, which the fat acceptance movement, health at any size, it's anti-science, it's anti-biology, it's anti-sense, and it's certainly anti-health. And at the moment with this whole situation with COVID, a lot of people are kind of looking towards the government, looking towards the medical industries, and to give them a solution that they can easily take, that they can easily do, that will protect them, such as a vaccine. And I can see the parity between these two things. If you look at sort of fat people don't really want to take it into their own hands. They want either society to change the ideal, change the status quo so then they're accepted, or they want somebody to come up with something to change their life, whether it be a diet pill, a diet, something, a quick fix. And I think you can see that this is happening again with COVID. People want a vaccination, they want an easy measure, something, masks or whatever. They want something to happen easily that will take away the fear, take away their personal sort of responsibility and culpability to protect themselves. And this sort of instant gratification, which I talk about quite a lot, guys, you can see this across loads and loads of categories, loads and loads of things. And I think it's like an innate part of human nature where people want an easy answer. They don't want to put the work in. It's Occam's razor, which is the easiest solution. The simplest solution is probably the best one. Now, because of this, we do get kind of like an abject laziness as part of the human condition, where we don't really want to have to work really hard to get something. Now, we want to go for the easiest option. We want to preserve our energy as much as possible. And we understand, I understand that's part of our primordial nature. If you can eat berries near to your camp, you'll eat those berries rather than going out and walking 10 miles to go and get some mangoes. Because it doesn't suit, isn't it? There's no point in walking 10 miles to get mangoes if you've got some berries that will do the same job. So the innate nature of humans is to often go after the simplest one, or the one that's perceived as being the simplest, the one that's perceived as being the easiest. And often that will come in today with the modern technologies, and I don't just mean sort of, computer, I mean technologies in general. Modern technologies of things like, hygiene, vaccinations, medical care, all of these sorts of things. Now the problem is when we are going after having a third party delivering us some means of or some mode of changing our lives, we don't do it ourselves. And so we wait with bated breath for somebody else to come and fix our lives for us, whether we're talking about the COVID situation or we're talking about health or fitness or anything else. Now, with the fat acceptance movement, the only thing that's going to fix your life is you. You need to get off your butt, you need to put the fork down, and you need to go and move. If you've got a health problem, you have a hormone problem, it's going to make it more difficult for you, but it isn't impossible. And actually these ideas that, I'm never going to lose weight, I got PCOS or whatever, all this crap, all you're doing there is kind of like, putting more nonsense on yourself and creating self-fulfilling prophecies that will be very hard for you to push through. Now, in regards to COVID, we can think about, what can I do? I'm not a virologist, I'm not a vaccine maker, I'm not a scientist. Well, no, you may not be, but you are a sovereign creature and you are sovereign over your own body. And so things like looking to supplement with vitamin C, with a good diet, with getting enough exercise, with getting enough sunshine, these things are really, really important. You know, there's good studies, and I'll see if I can link some stuff below, looking at the impact of vitamin C and of vitamin D. And actually in the West, we are terminally vitamin D deficient. And deficiency in vitamin D actually can cause huge amounts of problems, from lack of absorption to calcium, lack of absorption of calcium, to things like heart disease and coronary heart disease and arterial problems, which is very, very common with the Western diet, which is high in trans fats, high in saturated fats, and high in omega-6s. So we need to think about, you know, what's our diet like? What are we doing? Are we moving enough? Are we going outside? Are we getting enough sunlight? Are we meditating? Are we managing our stress levels? You know, stress is an inhibitor to the immune system. Same through bad diets, same through not moving enough. Having too sterile an environment, interestingly enough, can be problematic. And so when we're raising our children, we actually want them to have things to stimulate the immune system. So such as good dirt, you know, going out and having soil and things like that in our lives. Things like pesticides, things like chemicals, things like preservatives, all of these things are damaging towards the immune system. So I want you to take the time to look at yourself and look at your diet and take your sovereignty back. Look at everything that you're encapsulating into your lifestyle and recognize whether or not it's healthy. If you're living a lifestyle that isn't healthful, isn't looking after yourself to the best of your ability, then take some of that sovereignty back and consider what you can do to make your life better. You can implement and supplement your life with healthy juices, green juices, things like vegetables, plant-based diet, good protein sources, all of these things, vitamins, minerals, all of these things are very simple and very cheap to implement into your diet. You know, and this idea that, you know, a shitty diet is cheaper than a healthy diet, I'm really anti that as well, to be honest. And I don't know whether I am just superly privileged and really blind to it, but I think unless you're living in a food desert, actually it's quite simple to get hold of things like potatoes and rice and vegetables. You know, frozen vegetables are just as good as non-frozen vegetables. You know, even if you have to eat frozen fruit things, these tend to be fresher sometimes than fresh fruit. So don't think that you can't. Stop setting up barriers between you and success, because you can if you want to. In the words of Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. When you set up these really unhealthy parameters in your mind that something is difficult, that you can't, you won't, you shan't, and you shouldn't, or you couldn't, that's what you will achieve. So, you know, go towards being a healthy sovereign being as quickly and as fast and as urgently as you possibly can, because your life literally depends upon it. Don't wait for the government, don't wait for the doctors, don't wait for your parents, your mothers, your wife, your husband, whoever the hell it is that you feel is a boundary and a barrier to your success and your health. Don't wait for them to fix it. You need to fix your life, and you need to get on it soon. Good luck, guys. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. I'm Laura from Law of Attraction. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and like, and I'll speak to you real soon. I love you lots. Take care of yourselves.